Welcome to the Clemson Dubcast. It is Friday, March 8th. Spring is in the air. Spring football is in the air. I've enjoyed going over and watching Clemson's football practices, getting to know the 2024 version that, of course, includes several high-profile freshmen. Got plenty of articles coming from Paul Strelo and me this weekend at TigerIllustrated.com. My good friends Blake Smith and Brooke Archenhold have been part of the podcast since the beginning, way back in August of 2018. They have an accomplished team of personal injury attorneys at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold based in Greenville. They are Clemson people, and their skillful attorneys have decades of experience in complicated litigation matters, taking a special interest in medical malpractice, nursing home abuse and neglect, car accident cases that have left the individuals involved in serious trouble. For a free consultation at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold, call 864-990-4581 or online at parhamlaw.com. That's PARHAM law.com. When you're ready for a complete renovation in your home or business, open the door to more with Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Their local experienced team will totally transform any room space, from beautiful floor coverings to construction to finished details. Harris handles every step of your renovation process, whether it's a kitchen or living room or an industrial or educational setting, like some of the positively stunning work they've done at Clemson University. Go to discoverharris.com and experience a total renovation transformation from Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Solero Communications, formerly known as Tandem Payment, is a full-service integrated electronic payments provider powered by leading-edge technology. Solero provides a wide array of merchant solutions, simplified payments. They make onboarding, taking payments, maintaining risk management and compliance, and getting support quick and easy. At Solero, they're all about helping you achieve sustainable growth as a business. Taking payments isn't the only thing your business needs. With Solero's solutions, you can manage inventory, sell products and services via social media, schedule staff, track sales, get reports, and much, much more. Find out more about Solero at solerocommerce.com. That's CELERO commerce.com. Okay, Dabo Swinney is always interesting when he's in front of a microphone, so we figured we would share the entirety of his most recent gathering with the media after Wednesday's spring practice, and we'll follow that with Cade Klubnik's most recent powwow with the media. Okay, enjoy. Here we go.
All right.
Brian, already been a week. Coach Swinney, do you have any opening comments? Or you want to go straight to questions?
No, just, it is. It's crazy. It already has been a week. Today was 5, 6, something like that. So it's been fun though. We got a lot in. Today was kind of a first time to let them play, even though it was kind of a half practice, half live practice. And today, all situations, just reintroducing them to all of that, and then Friday we'll start our clinic tomorrow. So we got a lot going on this week. We got clinic tomorrow and Friday, and we got junior day this weekend. We got a barbecue this weekend with our former players. So big practice day on kind of a clinic-type practice day on Friday, and then another half practice, half scrimmage on Saturday, and getting them ready for a full scrimmage next Wednesday. So it's been good. This is a really competitive group, and I like their hunger. I like their mentality of where they are right now, and we just got to keep showing up and keep trying to make each day count.
Thoughts on Wesco now that you've seen him?
Yeah, I mean he's what we hoped he'd be. He's a natural. Probably the biggest thing. I mean, you rarely one of those guys from a talent standpoint. Are you shocked, when they get here as far as running and jumping and athleticism, change of direction, all that type of stuff? Usually as much recruiting as we do and evaluation and seeing them in person, you don't miss often on that. I think the biggest thing that I think is a plus for him that's not always the case with guys is he's got a mentality to go with it. He's got a mindset that he's very mature. He's a very mature, young player. Still got a lot to get better at and all that stuff. But he's a natural at what he does, and he likes to be coached. He likes to learn. I think, right now we got him in just one spot, trying to just get his feet on the ground. He's picked things up well, but I've been really pleased with him. It's been he's made a couple nice plays today, as a matter of fact. So he's off to a good start. But again, sometimes you see guys, they got all the talent, man. They can run, they can jump, they can change direction, but their maturity doesn't match the talent, right? As I always say, that maybe the commitment's not quite. The talent's greater than the commitment. And he's a kid that he's a really focused, very mature. He's very talented, but he's really committed. His commitment's greater than the talent. And when you have that, you got a chance to get the attention of everybody early. He's done that. Yeah, that's a process he's going to go through. He's made some progress just since he's gotten here in January, but that'll be a ongoing process for him for the next couple of years. He's just a young body that's got to physically mature and develop, but he's in progress of that, and he's a worker. He takes to it. Again, he's very committed, so he's very self-aware of what he knows he needs to do as far as just building his body out a little bit. But it's not something that happens overnight. But he holds up just fine. Hunter Renfrow wasn't ever very big. I don't think he ever weighed more than about 175 pounds here, and he held up okay. It's how can you use what you have, and but Hunter was about 155 when he got here, so 175 for him. He was Hulk, right? And so Wesco is in a much better starting point from that. He's 170 something, I guess, but he'll keep progressing there. A long way to go till August, and I think he'll make a big jump. That's one of the reasons I like to go early, spring, is I like for these guys. We get out of school early in May, that first week, so I like for these guys to get a good 3 weeks of post-spring training and really create that momentum going into the summer. So that'll be big for him. Really good. Same thing I would say about Wesco. He's a natural football player, very serious about it, very committed. He's a kid that, like I said, he's just about his business all the time. And we're got just like we're doing with Wesco. We got him at one spot right now, trying to just get him locked in on that. He actually he missed a good bit of the scrimmage because he had a I think it was a math test he had to go to, and then he's not going to be here Friday. He's got to go to Atlanta for the Maxwell Awards. He's being presented with that, and so he needs to be there for that. But he'll be out there on Saturday ready to roll. But he's done well. That whole group. I'm pleased with all those freshmen. I think it's 2 years in a row that we've brought in a lot of mature young guys that I think are really serious about it, and so Sammy's definitely one of those guys. Yeah, he just strained his quad. He had three or four really, really good days. Really pleased with him. Kind of picked up where he left off. He kind of finished the season with a lot of confidence, and he's carried that into the off season, and then really off to a really good start with spring ball, and just on a go ball the other day, just a little tweak in his quad, nothing serious. So just trying to be smart with him so it doesn't linger or lead to anything else. So he's kind of day to day.
Noticed the other day while we were out there, Troy kind of pulled up a little bit. Is he okay?
Troy's always banged up. Always. I've never seen him when something's not hurting on him. He's got a hurt thumb or finger or something, but he battles through. He's a tough kid. But he's actually a guy that probably will not finish spring. We made a decision on him. He really needs he's nothing major, but he needs a little cleanup surgery. But we made the decision that he needed to really get all the spring he could get before we did that. We don't want him to miss any of the summer, so that's why we didn't do it before the spring. Because if you know anything about Troy, he hasn't really had a spring. He hasn't really had much of a spring or a fall camp since he's been here. So it was really important for him. I mean, it's not something he can't play with, but we need to get it cleaned up so he can be really 100% and just fully pain free there. But so he's just getting it. He'll go through spring break, and then we'll probably do surgery on him after spring break. So, but that we're going to get. I think we're getting 10 practices in before we break. So that was important, and kind of the way we set it up. So he's going to get the majority of the spring, and then the timing of his surgery and what we need to do with him, we'll clean everything up so he's ready to go, full go, this summer. So we don't he can have the type of summer that he needs and be ready to go fall camp.
How's the center competition been stacking up so far?
It's been good. We got 3 guys that are really getting all the snaps. Really 4. Pendergrass is getting some snaps in there as well. So solid. I mean, all 3 of those guys are battling. Got a long way to go. It's now that we're getting into some live type of stuff, it starts getting easier to evaluate. So we'll ramp it up. Again on Saturday, and we'll do a little. I think we got 1 live period on Friday, but half practice on Saturday, and then a full scrimmage next Wednesday. So, they're battling.
Can you give an update on Ian Reed? I guess some of the medical stuff he was dealing with has been resolved.
Yeah, he's back out there. I mean, he had a tough fall. I mean, he missed weeks and weeks and weeks with his situation. It's something he's dealt with from his whole life, really, from his childhood on, kind of a immunity type of thing. But he's actually doing really good. I'll tell you what, that sucker's tough. He's competitive. He don't back down. I'd say he's a guy that's caught Matt's eye early, just from his toughness. And again, he missed a ton of time this fall. But he's doing a lot better. It seems like they've gotten everything, back in a good spot and regulated and stuff. But football is very important to that kid. And that's one thing I can say about him. He's big, he can move, but he cares. He really does care. And I think all those guys that we signed last year fit that. I really do. I'm proud of Flapjack. Big Zach, he's still a work in progress, but man, he's made a lot of progress from where he was this time last year to where he is right now, night and day. I mean, literally night and day. In fact, this time last year, I was like, well, we'll see him next year, and if he works, then we'll like what we see. If he doesn't, going to be more than the same. But he's a work in progress, the opposite of Wesco, and he's come a long way, and still got another jump we need to make with him between now and August. But I'd say the same thing about him and Ian. Harris obviously came in and played and helped us last year, but I'd say the same thing about him and Ian. They both really care, and they're both freaking tough. And I love that about both, and they're big. So, 2 young guys that are going to battle all spring. Progress. I'm hesitant to say a whole lot, but I like how Matt's challenging him big time, and he's just a guy that's got to develop the consistency in his game. He's got everything. I mean, everything. But as I've said a few times, if we could get his commitment to be better than his talent, he could be a superstar. But he's one of them guys, unfortunately, that's talented enough, even with not fully being committed to being his best, that can kind of get away with it. That's how talented he is. But I'm optimistic and hopeful that we can get him through the knothole. I like how he's responding to Matt, and Matt's really challenging him, and we need him, and he can really help us. And so hopefully we can keep taking some steps forward with him. It's good. That's the other thing that's been a great, obviously Robert really struggled. And once we got to the season, he was awesome until the lights turned on. But he seems like he's found his confidence, and he's done really well, and Hoosier's right there with him. I mean, it is fun to watch. In fact, we finished practice today with about 6 kicks or so, and man, they're right there. So we're gonna get better right there, one way or another. I'm really excited about our situation at kicker. A lot. You know, in the fall we didn't see him a whole lot. Again, you know, you get into the weeks and you're getting ready to play, and you know, you had Helms and we had Paul that were, you know, 2 and 3. So you just you know, he did a lot of watching, and you know, obviously he'd get his indie work and some Skelly here or there, but mostly watching. But now he's mostly doing, and he's exactly what I hoped he would be. You know, he makes some mistakes, you know, but man, he'll rip it. He'll pull the trigger. He's a big, strong kid that can really run. I mean, he made a couple of plays with his legs today that you're like, okay, and he's just a tough competitor. So, I mean, I'm pleased. He's accurate with the ball. You know, he'll put the ball in position where guys have a chance to make a play on it. But he's not afraid. So he's just a guy that's just going to keep getting better because he's getting coached every day now. And it's one thing to mentally rep. It's another thing to physically rep. And so that's been really, really good. And hopefully, you know, Trent hadn't been able to go live yet, but hopefully in the next day or so they'll let him go, get back going live. He was sick, so he's back, but they hadn't really cleared him yet to go full speed yet. So be glad we get some reps from him too. But really proud of really, and Paul's looked good. Paul's got the best job going out there, but he's staying sharp for us, and you know, getting a lot of work, he's getting all the Skelly work, getting a lot of indie and team separate and stuff like that. He's getting to do, so it's been good for him. But it's a good situation. Cade's been awesome. I mean, you see the growth, you see the confidence, you see the maturity in him, and so we just trending in a good direction. Just got to keep it going.
Thinking big picture with tempo, is there another level you want to reach, sort of moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's all dictated by staying on schedule, you know, being efficient, not having negative plays, you know, those type of things. And, you know, once you get that rhythm going, then you can really drive the tempo. But it starts with just being more efficient and precise in what we do.
With that, how does the helmet calm, how will that play into guys' tempo?
I don't think it's affect us. I really don't. I don't see it really changing our operation a whole lot. Everything kind of already goes through our quarterback, so I don't see much change. We're practicing with it every day, you know, with the headset and the walkie-talkie deal. So I mean, we're trying to get used to it as a staff, but you know, just you still got a signal. I mean, you got to signal to, unless everybody has a headset, you got to signal somewhere. The quarterback's got to signal, and what if it goes out? You still got to have the ability to communicate and signal. So I don't think it'd be that different. We'll see. I mean, you know, we'll figure it out as we go.
Behind Offa stepped up in the running back room.
You know, that's a position that all those guys have flashed. Unfortunately, Jay hadn't been able to go yet because he tweaked his hamstring and mat drills, and they haven't cut him loose yet. But he's better. He's better. He's getting there. So I hate it because, you know, every time, literally, like we were going to play him this fall, and he had the high ankle sprain, and then we get him back, and we're getting ready for the bowl game, and he had a hamstring or whatever it was, growing. I can't remember what it was. And so he never really got the opportunity, but we've all seen it on our practice field. And so we're excited about his potential, but we just got to have him available. And hopefully he'll be able to get something before the end of spring. But it's been a great opportunity for those other guys, and they've all taken advantage of it. Man, you know, Hammer, Keith Adams, man, he's he's improving every day. You know, he's just different. He's different than all those other guys. You look at him and you think he's truly a sledgehammer, just thick and, you know, powerful, and he's all of that. But he's got a little better change of direction than you think. This kid can stick a foot in the ground, and he's really, really improved just with his vision and his understanding of everything we're doing in the run game. So I'm really proud of him. I mean, he's a handful. He's kind of unique, but he is a handful. He's a tough dude to tackle. And then Jarvis, he's a natural. He's just a natural running back. I mean, this kid's just, everything he does, it just comes fluid to him. Like, he catches the ball naturally. He's not the biggest guy, but he plays big. And, you know, I mean, guy's a Gatorade Player of the Year in the state. I mean, guy played at a great program, well coached, tough. He's a really good football player, and he's positioned himself to help us, you know. So just getting better and better. And then Easy E, man, Easy E's showing up. I mean, he's getting all the pride work right now, and it's been good for him. And he's what we hoped he'd be. He's a little erratic right now. I would say not as polished, but he's wide open, and he is fast. He's a strong kid. He's tough and physical. I mean, he's everything we hoped he'd be, and I love how he's taken to the coaching. So I mean, that's a good room, man. It's a good room without Jay Haynes right now. So I think we got a chance. And then Phil's Phil. He had a huge play today. I think it was about 3rd and 3, and he ripped one off for about 50. Patient. I mean, it's just fun to watch him where he is right now and how he's evolved, his patience. You know, and I would say David maybe is a similar. You know, if you go back to freshman Phil, similar in just kind of, you know, where he is right now and just how he's progressed from a development standpoint. His body's in great shape. He catches the ball well. He understands the scheme, the protections. He's patient in the run game. And then he's explosive through the hole, and he's got the ability to pull away in the open field. But really proud of him.
You don't have fullbacks on the roster anymore. Nobody recruits them. Keith has played that for you. How big is it to have a guy who can come in and say, hey, if we're on the line, you have a fullback, you can do it? And does he embrace that, chance to get on the field and help however? Yeah,
I think anytime we get in our two-back type of stuff, that, you've got to be willing to do that. Just like we had with Shipley and Maffa. Somebody's got to lead, somebody's got to kick out. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you don't have a lot of just true I formation, dude. If I get in a true I formation, I'm putting one of them big dudes back there. But yeah, I mean, Keith runs the ball like an old school fullback, that could really, really run. I mean, like he's got tailback talent, but he's got that fullback mentality. If that makes sense. And back in the day, Kevin Turner was the epitome of that. KT, Nolan's dad, Cole's dad. Second round draft pick, but he came to Alabama as a tailback and grew into a fullback. But he always played fullback like a tailback. That's how he ran the ball. That's how he caught the ball. And the game was different in those days. But Hammerhead, man, he's a load. I mean, he is a load. This kid, again, and that what we're trying to get him to do is just be him, and just be who he is, and don't worry about anything else, because there'll be a role for him. I really believe that.
What is Stellado's surgery going to be?
He's going to have a little cleanup on his shoulder. He's played with it, and he can keep going, but it's just something, for the season we need to get cleaned up. But just again, if he was a guy that had a lot more experience, we probably would have gone ahead and done it before spring. But he needs the work, and he knew, and he's practiced his butt off, man. Kid's out there competing. Made couple great plays today. That's one thing you can say about Troy. He's tough. He is a tough, competitive dude, and if we can just keep him available, he's going to be productive. So it's been good and really good for him to be able to get, like I said, the way we timed it up. He'll get the 10 practices, and then we'll scope him up, clean him up, and then he'll be ready to go for the summer.
Peter would be one of your fastest defensive moments when you play outside, but I guess technically, where is he as a pass rusher right now? So he has to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he's played everywhere. I mean, high school he's played on the outside. He's played all over the place. So it's not like he's spent his life at one position and has to all of a sudden learn to play in space. But the biggest thing is from where he was last year is when you're playing on the edge. It's you're still using the same technique, but you got a little more room. You got a little more space, and so your technique of closing the space, your footwork, single move, double move, up and under, spin, all those things, speed to power, which obviously he can do. He can't just bowl his way every time. So really working on his counters and just his true pass rush technique from a position where oftentimes he's got space. Whereas when you're inside, you don't always – you're still the same stuff. Everything's just tighter, and you got other people right there that you're weaving through. So that's it. I mean, the rest – he's just a natural. It ain't going to take him long. He's looked good. He looks good out there.
Just think of a Wiggins starting at 14.
Not surprised. Thought he'd be faster. It must have been a bad surface or something. He's out there today. Most all those guys are in town. It's about what I thought he'd do. He's fast dude, and happy for him. He's put himself in position to. He's got the tape. He checked the tape, made a lot of plays, gotten better every year. He's still a work in progress. His best football is still in front of him, but he's in position, and then he's done what he needed to do from measurables, just his all that stuff that everybody makes such a big deal about, that to separate himself. He's not an average guy. He's special. Yeah, him and Antonio. It's great to have them both, man. They look great. Cole had a big play today on third down. Antonio had a couple big plays. They both they're happy. They're excited to be back out there. When you have something taken away from you. Cole's never been hurt. Antonio's always played, and all of a sudden you can't play. Antonio played 3.5 games, so until we got to the bowl game, and he played some snaps in that. 20 snaps or something. And Cole played a game and a quarter. So they're just excited to be back out there playing. And we look different when they're out there. It's a different group, and we don't have Noble out there right now. So he's out. But we outside of Noble, and we had everybody out there, and then Tyler Brown. And we think after spring break we'll get Tyler. Tyler had the screw put in his foot, so we think after spring break we'll get him. He looks really good. So we kind of started with just Noble and Tyler out. We looked the part. So we got work to do, but we looked the part, and that's good to see. This time last year we had like one scholarship guy in spring practice. So. But obviously we'll get, and then Adam's off to a great start, so hopefully we'll get him back sometime soon. But he's had a great start. Troy's had a good start. Antonio, Cole, Ronan had a nice day today. Ronan is he's a big, physical, strong kid that's developing his confidence. Ultra competitive guy. It's a fun group, and you throw in there Tink's out there rolling around. He's a guy you go, whoa, okay, and then boom, here's Wesco showing up, jumping in there. So it's a group that looks the part. So if we can put it all together and catch a break from a health standpoint. And we get obviously TJ. TJ is going to be here summer 1, so we'll get him here in May. So I'm excited about that, and get Troy the majority of spring, get him cleaned up, and then Noble's going to be out for the spring with his injury, so won't have him. I hate it for him, but he put himself in that situation.
Team be able to help you in the return game.
Absolutely, no question. Yeah. Tink can help us in a lot of places. I mean, he's a good football player, just a well-rounded guy. And he's another guy that didn't get much opportunity last year and had to have surgery. But he's a well-rounded athlete. I mean, there's a lot he can do, and we've kind of settled in with where we want him. So, he's got 4 years left, got a lot of football. It's a good group. Cole technically has got 4 years left, because we can get his year back. Because he redshirted. If you redshirt and then you get hurt again and lose another year to injury, you can get that year back. So he's technically got 4 more years, and so it's I like where we are at that position, and we'll see how it all comes together and shakes out. But it's a good start to this point.
Laughing with Ross the other day at the tight end group. Probably looked pretty good coming off the bus.
Yeah.
Do you like what you've seen out of
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brenny is as he should be. I mean, he looks like a pro out there. That's what he should look like. Going in his 4th year, the kid's played 3 years. He's got a lot of experience. He's kind of been through the battles, and he looks very focused on what he wants to do. I mean, this kid's a great player. He's very talented, and I'm just proud of him because he's matured. He was kind of a little immature early on as far as just what it was going to take for him to get to be the best version of Brenny. But man, he's bought into it, and he's a tough kid, and he's a tough competitor. Great finisher on the ball, and he's just the chemistry with Cade is good, and just proud of him, man. He's leading that group, so we know what we got. And Brenny and Maffa, I ain't worried about either one of them two dudes. I feel really, really good about where both of them are, but I'm excited about what's behind them at both spots. And man, I'm gonna tell you, nobody talks about Josh Sapp, but Josh Sapp he's a baller. He's a good football player, man. This kid he's kind of the Grady Jarrett of the tight ends. He doesn't necessarily look the part. You wish he was a little bigger, right? But, man, he plays like he's 6'5". This kid's a really, really good football player. And that's kind of what we hoped he'd be. I mean, he's played every position except offensive line. He was a quarterback. He's played running back. He's played tight end. He played receiver. He's played DN. He's played linebacker. He's played safety. He's a great basketball player. And it just shows. And what I love about him is it's his mentality. I mean, he's got the mentality. Like, he thinks he's 6'5", 250. That's how he plays. Grady Jarrett thought he was, 6'5", 310. Still does. And you know what? That's a huge part of it. And that's one thing I love that about Sapp. This kid's, he's just sneaky fast, sneaky athletic, knows how to use he's kind of got a unique body for the position. Plays bigger than he is. I mean, I'm really, really pleased with him. And then, man, Olsen and Marcus. That's two dudes definitely you won't getting off the bus with you. Olsen, we saw it last year. I mean, this kid's on his way. And then Marcus didn't get as much opportunity, but he's probably the most physical guy in his route running, really knows how to use his body. So it's a really, really good group, and Bentoncourt's on the way. And we got Blue Jeans, who's kind of carved out a little role too. Banks Pope. He's just an old blue collar guy out there that scraps and fights and has a little role for us as well. So it's a good group. Kyle's done a great job. Kyle's done a great job coaching that room and recruiting that room.
A few sitting head coaches, Jeff Hafley in the NFL, and Jim Kelly, head coach offensive coordinator, talking about the stresses of the engage with it, and how do you kind of help your staff balance that stuff with how much goes into being a coach?
Yeah. Well, I just try to manage our calendar, and not let the calendar manage us. That's number one. And number two, everything, the way I manage everything is through my faith. So I don't get overwhelmed. I just try to stay connected to my power source, if you will, to keep my battery charged up. I'm no different than anybody else. If I don't stay plugged into that power source, my battery will get low too, right? And so I just try to stay charged up and keep a good, healthy perspective on just what I need to do day in and day out, and just stay focused on what I control. I love coming to work. I love my guys. I just focus on the purpose, and so I just stay purpose driven. I try not to get distracted by all the stuff that we don't control. There's certainly some challenges, but I think we're eventually it'll all settle out a little bit. Just a lot going on right now, and so just staying. I think the best thing to do is just keep your blinders on, stay focused on what you're doing, one step at a time, one day at a time, and that's just what I try to do. But from a staff standpoint, I've always tried to manage the calendar in a way where they can, not have to sacrifice their family to do their job. That's very important to me, that they can be, good dads, good husbands, so it really hasn't changed much for us. We've been able to do what we do at a high level, and I think we're going to continue to do that.
Avion looked like he had his right ankle wrapped the last couple of days. He was in green on Friday. Is there anything to worry about there?
No, he's practicing. He's back at it.
The NCAA voted to push early national signing dates to the first week of December. Was that kind of like the ideal date that you were looking for, that you preferred with it to get away from the transfer?
I'm in the camp of anything earlier I was good with. Honestly, I didn't really care. 5 years ago, if you'd have said, I'd have said August 1. That was I tried to push for that for years, and but I was for anything earlier than the portal signing, when the portal opens, just to give the high school kids an opportunity to sign before the portal opens. So I'm great with it. Fine with me.
Take one or two more. Go ahead.
What do you think about you saw the 6'9", 380 walk-on show up
Cardone?
Yeah, try to get on with him before? Or was that
Yeah, Big Dom. Yeah, he's tried out a couple times. We told him we'd give him a shot this spring, and he made it through mat drill. So I don't know if he was going to make it through mat drills. Over-under was not in his favor, going into it. But, man, that big kid pushed right through it. And, he did a nice job. He's a nice kid. I really like him. And we might travel him for him to get off the bus first. He is a massive, massive human being. And, in fact, I was yelling at Zach Owens the other day. I was getting after him. I wasn't getting after him. I was just creating a matchup. I said, all right, I got the heaviest OL, and I got the lightest D lineman, and it's fixing to be it. We're going to see what's happening. And Zach goes, I'm the second heaviest OL, coach. And so he messed that up. Zach was so happy. Zach Owens is the happiest guy in the building that he's not the heaviest OL. But, yeah, that is a big, big, big man. So he hung in there. He's hung in there in the offseason and made it through the mat drills, and good kid. Team likes him, so he's doing what he needs to do.
That's a big group.
Big, yeah, we're big. Yeah, same thing. We look the part. We got to go play the part. It's like wide out, man. We back in business. We look the part, but we got to go. We got to go perform. Right? It's not about. Ain't a beauty contest, and it's not about potential, but we do look the part. We're big, strong, but if you look at the makeup of our roster too, I mean, we got a bunch of guys that have played, that have been around here for a few years, and then you throw in there, 7 guys that have started, and then you throw in there Linthicum, who's a big kid, Dietrich is a massive person, lean, strong. And then you look at some of these young guys that we've brought in here. I mean, these guys are huge. Sadler's big. Blake obviously is big. A couple young guys, and then you look at Zach and Ian Reed. All those freshmen are big kids. Every single one of them. Ronan's a big dude. Watson is a big, thick kid as well. Mason is big. So I mean, it's a really good. Elijah's a big kid. They're all got what the size that we're looking for.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice question. That's what Matt wants. These bigger guys, right?
Yeah, and he was happy, to see that. Hey, okay, we got a little more here than maybe he thought. And then, when these guys showing up, it worked out good because for a while there, we just had Ronan committed, and then all of a sudden, bam, we got Mason, we got Elijah, we took Watson late. So yeah, we're tracking on some big dudes for sure. We need a little length and just continue to build the profile there.
Is there a timetable on Jaden Lucas coming back?
He'll be back this summer. He'll be ready to go. Saying he was another guy that we went ahead and made the decision because we wanted him to have a full summer on what we needed to do with him. But he's good. I mean, he's tracking good. He's going to be out all spring, but he's doing well. Walker Parks is doing well. He's another guy we forget about, but he's trending in a good direction. He's starting to get in there and start to do some indie work with the OL. So I'm excited about that. But Jay Lou's, we feel great about Jay Lou and just what he brings to the table. So the other side of it is, Shelton and Avion and Miles and the young buck out there, Tavoy. We moved Mankaka over there. He's doing a good job for us over there. Austin Randall. We got a good little group. Strozier's getting back in practice now, so it's good to see him, getting back going. And then obviously got a couple more guys that'll be with us.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, appreciate it.
Upstate foodies. Want to take a moment to talk to you about our favorite taco spot, Willie Taco. 5 locations across the upstate. This award-winning team has been serving up fresh taco fusion for a solid decade now. The chefs at Willie Taco utilize the freshest, most creative, and sometimes unexpected ingredients in their kitchens. Come see why Southern Living, Garden and Gun, and Food and Wine Magazine are raving about Willie Taco and their signature offerings, such as their Southern Tide, crispy avocado, Nashville hot chicken tacos, literally flavors you will not find anywhere else, folks. And don't forget about the cocktails. Super fresh margaritas, ice cold cerveza, and over 80 tequilas served up daily from behind the bar. So don't wait, folks. Your Willie Taco Familia is ready to serve you up their twist on funky, fresh fusion. It's the Willie way. Want to share a quick word about Founders Federal Credit Union? If you've been to a sporting event in Clemson, you've probably heard about Founders already. They are the official credit union partner of the Clemson Tigers. In addition to that, all Clemson faculty, staff, and students are eligible for membership as well as IPTAY members. Its office is located beside the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Old Greenville Highway in Clemson. For more information, go to foundersfcu.com. Another loyal supporter of the Dubcast is Blackacre Law Firm in Greenville, a subsidiary of Parham Smith & Archambault. Blackacre helps South Carolina residents achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing experienced professional representation for real estate closings. Attention to detail is crucial in real estate law. Blackacre is committed to making sure nothing gets by them preparing residential or commercial closings. Blackacre also offers estate planning services for their clients in the Greenville area. Find out more about Blackacre at 864-326-3507.
Where you want to focus your improvement in year 3 here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that I've kind of looked back on this last season and revalue myself. I think one of the biggest things is kind of post-snap recognition. So just, second year in an offense. I actually haven't had that yet. So to kind of like truly be in a system longer than a year and like look back at things that I've learned from last year and all my notes that I took last year and everything like that, and actually, incorporate those into this year. I think that my post-snap recognition is going to get better with just decision-making, when to come off of stuff, and, when I can truly attack things a little bit stronger and stuff like that. So being a little bit more aggressive in my decisions because I've just been in the system now for a little bit. So I think that's going to be huge for me. Obviously trying to with that comes just quicker reads. So that's going to, it's going to make the ball get out of my hand faster, more explosive plays, and ultimately, less sacks because I'm getting the ball out of my hand. So that's going to be huge, I think, just for the whole offense in general. And so I think that's going to be really good. Just continue to work on pocket presence and then just situation awareness.
I guess you talked about post-snap recognition. Was it you looked pre-snap and you thought something would be there and it wasn't quite there as you thought it would be, or was it that you just weren't trusting things after the snap?
It's more just like whenever you're like in an offense with a new play, like the more that you do it, the more that you get good at it, right? So, if basic my basic read is, I'm reading the Mike backer, and sure, that might be my first read. If I only ran it in one game, then I'm really only looking at the Mike. But if I get it to the third game and the fourth game, then I kind of know what he's doing before he's getting there, and because I know the play, so now I can start, getting the backside safety, just like stuff like that. So it's more just like getting used to and running the same play over and over again. You start to pick off things from defenses, so you can just kind of get through the play faster and like, say that I can knock off my first read right off the bat, pre-snap and post-snap, because I've just ran it enough. I don't know. I'm not explaining that very well, but I think that it's just going to help. It's gonna be both pre and post. So.
I guess what does the process actually look like for you in terms of going back and watching the last season? Like, do you go game by game, or is it a cut up type deal?
Yeah, I definitely went game by game, and then I had a lot of cut ups made for me that I'm kind of still watching. Like, I'll go watch tonight. Just certain cut ups throughout the year, whether it was missed opportunities. Just I got tons of them that some of our guys have made for me, so it's been really good. So I'll, kind of after this, I'm kind of just knocking away. Before spring started, I watched last year's games, and then now I'm kind of knocking away those cut-ups. So it's been really good, really helpful for me. So.
What is it like watching a missed opportunity real? I mean, I guess they're showing you a guy that was wide open and see him. It's like,
yeah, that, or just whether it's a missed throw or a wrong decision or. Missed throw or something like that. So, yeah. Yep.
Coach Swinney said that in his opening presser Wednesday that one of the goals for the offense is to regain that explosive chemistry. How, in this spring, how are you guys going about to recapture that explosiveness?
Yeah. I think for one, we battled with a lot of injuries last year at receiver. And so much of the offseason is gaining chemistry. Right, so gaining chemistry with your receivers and those guys, and he brought up a good point. Was just we had guys that were battling through a lot of injuries last year, where guys wouldn't be able to really practice, and they would just kind of get good enough for every game, and then end up playing the game, but they really wouldn't practice. And I think that having guys, getting those reps throughout the week is going to be huge, because we would get to the actual game, and it'd be my first time throwing a certain route to a certain guy, like ever. Because I haven't actually repped that with a guy just because he's been battling through injuries. And it's not my fault. It's not his fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just kind of the way, the cards are dealt sometimes. So I think just having everybody is going to be really good for us. And then, again, just a second go around in the offense of just becoming a little bit more aggressive at certain times. And so, yeah.
Jason, you go back and look at the last game you played, that last drive. What does that do for your confidence? And did you kind of like the hurry-up aspect of it to maybe not have to think as much and just react immediately?
Yeah, I definitely liked the tempo of it for sure. I think that what really made that drive special was we didn't have any like superhero crazy 360 scramble across the field backwards throw that got us the 3rd and 18 or whatever. Like, no, it was just doing what we do and doing it very efficiently. We didn't need to do anything crazy to be efficient. And I think that that's where this offense is very, very elite, is when we're doing, the simple plays and the routine plays and doing them very, very efficiently. And when we did that, we drive with 2 minutes and we overcome 3rd and 18 and we get down there and score. And like that just showed like our offense is like, it doesn't have to be the crazy play that wins us the game. Like it's just doing what we do very efficiently. And I think that drive is exactly what we picture our offense being as a whole, of like doing that consistently. And at times we did that last year, but we just couldn't quite finish when we really needed to at the very, very end. But we had drives like that all year. So you look back at last year and there's so much promising stuff. But I think it's just finishing in the red zone and taking care of the football, and we're right there.
Shipley's gone. How does it feel to know you've got a guy like Phil Moffitt behind you?
Yeah, so fun. I think we have an incredible running back room. We got to do some short yardage stuff today, and we had a bunch of different running backs making huge time plays and, getting big down there. And so it was really fun, but, love having Phil back there. Just love the guy and such a great leader. And, nobody else I would want back there, So it's great. Gonna miss Ship for sure, though.
Obviously, the roster is a little bit different this year. What do you anticipate being the biggest difference in the team?
I think that we were just a really young team last year. I think that, we had to learn the hard way sometimes, and I had to learn the hard way, and a lot of us just had to learn the hard way, and that's just how it is. And, I think that we're not trying to be too much. We're just gonna come to work every day and get our results and show up in August.
You mentioned it being your second year, into your second year in the offensive coordinator's Garrett Riley system. How comfortable have you gotten with the system so far?
Yeah, I love it. Obviously you take about 2 months from it since the game, kind of since the season, and you kind of, you just finish a 5-month kind of stretch from fall camp to the last game. So you kind of step away from the game for a little bit and kind of just get in the weight room and just kind of step away from a little bit. So obviously getting back into things, you kind of get back in the groove of things and start remembering things you kind of forgot about. So. But it's been really good. I love it, and it's been really fun to kind of truly look back at last season and like carry over my notes. Like that's been really fun for me, of carry over every little detail of little plays that I wrote per game last year and carry those into spring ball. That's been really fun for me. Just kind of gives me an advantage. It's not my first time ever learning it.
One of the blessings from the injuries that the guys had is that different guys had to step up at different times. When you put all of it together, the pieces are there. They just haven't necessarily always been there at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. We have 7 offensive linemen that have started and won big time games for us. That's huge. That's huge for us. Just in depth wise at O-line. Just naming receivers that have played and legitimately played in games. Just receivers, not tight ends. Antonio, Troy, Adam, Ronan, Cole, Tyler, and one other guy I'm probably missing. I don't know. And then you got Bryant Wesco coming in too, who's a pretty good football player. So, and that's just receivers. That's 7 or 8 guys that have really played a lot of football for us. So a ton of depth, a ton of experience in that room, and then obviously just an incredible tight end room. Just really, really solid there. So really, really exciting about that.
Do you like the prospect of opening the season with an opponent like the caliber of Georgia? Do you like that?
Yeah, I think it's great. Right now we're focused on getting better, and that's what really we need to focus on. So that's what our mindset's on.
I guess that's the pass game. In the run game, was there anything in particular you feel like you could improve on or look back on and say?
Not a ton for me personally. Not a ton for me. Not a ton that I can think of really. Not in the run game. Yeah.
Cade, you talked about the red zone offense, and
when it gets down to the red zone, it's really tight in there, smaller windows, you have to make decisions faster, all that. So when you take the notes that you've taken from last year, coming to spring ball, not only how have you improved since then, but what changes can you make in the red zone offense that can improve in 2024?
Yeah, I think that it starts with just, taking a deep breath. I think that that's one thing that our offense and defense did last year is kind of getting down the red zone would sometimes get a little frantic, and just taking a deep breath and just calming down. And, I think that's going to be good for us. Just kind of taking a deep breath. And but, we'll start getting into more situational stuff on Wednesday. And so I'll let you know next time.
I apologize if you've been asked this, but that just came in here. The proposals of putting the stuff in the helmet next year. Your thoughts on that and how that could be helpful?
Yeah, we started doing that. I guess the first practice. When we started the first practice. Yeah, first practice like last week. So I've enjoyed it. I mean I like it. I think it's it's kind of fun, just kind of to be able to hear it. But I think it could be really good just for kind of tempo and in our offense especially. It's kind of like perfect for our offense. So I don't think we'll use it like every play or like most of the plays, but I think we'll take advantage of it when he wants to. And I think that we're just kind of playing around with it because obviously none of us have ever done it before. Coach Riley's never done it before. I've never done it before. So we're just kind of finding ways and messing around with it right now, and probably use it kind of more whenever we get to some of our scrimmages and stuff like that.
Now imagine, because you still like to do tempo, you'll still be doing hand signals, but maybe that's for like if you see something you got to change an audible or something like that.
Yeah. So yep. So
on that same note, the tablets on the sidelines, being able to watch film, how do you think that's going to change what you guys can do throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked about that at all right now. I know we used it for the Kentucky game. I liked it just because there were certain times where we got to kind of see certain like tips and stuff that DBs would give and linebackers, so we could be able to kind of see that. But at the end of the day, you still got to get out there and play the game. So it can only really help so much. But I think it's good. We didn't really get a huge like amount of practice with it. So.
Did you think that helped a little bit though, maybe on that 2-minute drive there at the end, that you went back and you were looking at different things they were doing in some situations?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I can't really remember, to be honest, just because it was a little bit ago. But I remember liking it, and it was effective. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
You mentioned Bryant Wesco. What are your initial impressions of him?
Yeah, he's been really proud of him. Since he's gotten here, he's just been working, and not a high ego guy at all. Just a guy that just comes to work every single day, and just really proud of him. But he's smooth, just fluid. That's the best way I can think of it. Just fluid, great, got really good, just ball in the air skills, and just really good at tracking it, and great separation, and just he's gonna be a really good player for us. Oh yeah.
Sorry, this has been asked before already, but you talked last year a lot about I can win a national championship here, Clemson win a national championship. What about the 2014 this team makes you confident that can happen? And with the playoff expanding, does that excite you, the idea that you can maybe lose 2 games and still get in and still have your shot after that?
Yeah. Obviously we're not lowering the standard of ever gonna say, hey, we can lose 2 games. I mean, our goal is to go undefeated, and I fully believe that this is the team that can do it. And I think we've got every single piece that we need to be able to do that. And if I just continue to take another step this spring and this summer, we just continue to keep our head on straight and just keep on working and shutting out the noise. I don't see how that can't happen. I believe it.
Take 1 or 2 more if anybody has any.
Speaking of wide receivers, CV was out there talking about Tink. He looked pretty good to me too out there. We kind of didn't know, is he going to be a wide receiver? What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, very shifty guy. Kind of reminds me a lot about Tyler. I think that he's going to be a really great slot for us, and just a really shifty guy. We're going to be a good punt returner guy too. So, definitely got a ton of high hopes for him. It's really exciting. Also, a guy that just, is about his business, and you love to have just a guy that just is up here on the weekends and getting extra catching in, getting extra jug machines in, and definitely really excited about him.
This time, last year and even starting fall, you didn't have all these weapons out there. You've been able to come out here, 6 a.m., 5 a.m. and throw with these guys, build some chemistry. What's it like now for you to go out there and go, playmaker, 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 playmaker?
Yeah.
What's it like for you?
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. You step up there and you got some dudes around you, some freaking dudes, and that's exciting. And it's exciting for me, obviously, just because I got matchups everywhere, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for matchups, and it's not about whether their guy's better than our guy. It's it's about who's against our guy, because I'm trusting our guy. So it's really exciting that there's a one-on-one matchup, and there's 4 of them, and I kind of get to just pick the best one and let's go sometimes. So not in every play, but certain plays like that if they're in man coverage, and it's exciting. It's really exciting because I think we've got some really big weapons, and it's really exciting. A lot of depth for sure. Yep.
All right, thank you.
It's going to be really interesting to watch Klubnik's development into the 24 season, through the 24 season. I think that more weapons on the outside, more consistency on the line of scrimmage with the offensive line, and as Cade said, the second year for him and Garrett Riley's system, I don't think it's out of the question that we might see some significant gains for him, which he and they are going to need for sure. Appreciate the long-running support of our sponsors who play a large role in making this happen. And of course, thanks to every single one of you for listening to it happen. Cheers.